All right. The GOAT, Caitlin Clark, had some things to say. Obviously, we saw the cryptic message Kelsey Mitchell put out there. Kelsey, you got to stop doing the cryptic messages, bro. You know it's going to stir the pot, girl. Come on now, Kelsey. I don't believe Kelsey is going anywhere. She is going to be an Indiana Fever. We got to get to what Caitlin Clark had to say, though. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. Hit that bell notification and hype the video for your boy. Let's get into it. In an article here on Athlon Sports. Let's get to it.
The message landed online without warning, vague yet deeply unsettling, instantly igniting speculation across the WNBA about the future of a fan-favorite star. Kelsey Mitchell's unexpected post set off a storm of rumors, with many believing a major shift was coming for the Indiana Fever standout. But before the speculation could spiral any further, a powerful and unmistakable show of loyalty emerged from the most influential voice in the league. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's defining figure, reacted without hesitation. She didn't question the moment or deny the chatter. Instead, she delivered a clear, decisive response that cut through the uncertainty, making her stance and the Fever's unity unmistakably clear. It was raw, genuine support for her teammates' next chapter.
Most disappointing thing, look, injuries happen. But I was looking forward to watching 44 games of Caitlin Clark destroying people. And we only got 13 games. Sad story. Due to multiple injuries, did not join. It says Clark, who played in just 13 games in 2025 due to multiple injuries, did not join the 3-on-3 Unrivaled League, despite reportedly being heavily pursued. There was speculation she would join in 2026 after opting not to participate in its inaugural season. Now, we know Caitlin Clark has dubbed Unrivaled every year. All the way, they tried to...
Kelsey Mitchell's original post, paired with photos taken in New Jersey, featured the cryptic caption, "Eyes open, mouth closed." The message immediately sent fans and analysts into overdrive, fueling theories of a blockbuster trade or a sudden exit from the Indiana Fever. The ambiguity felt very on brand for Mitchell, known for keeping people guessing, but this time the implications felt far more serious. Questions flooded social media. Was she preparing to leave the franchise that had shaped her professional career? The suspense was intense, and the WNBA world waited anxiously for answers. This didn't feel like a routine update. It felt like something much bigger was unfolding.
As she teased her upcoming appearance, "Eyes open, mouth closed," Mitchell wrote in the caption of her post. Clark showed support for Mitchell by commenting on the post. She wrote, "Let's go, Kels." Mitchell will be playing alongside Sonia Citron, Ezzie Magbegor, Natisha Heidemann, Sanaya Rivers, and Mo Billings with the Hive BC in 2026. The team will be coached by Chicago Sky assistant Rena Wakama. The second season of Unrivaled kicks off January 5th. It will be interesting to see how Mitchell performs in the 3-on-3 setting. It's worth noting she led the Fever in scoring during the 25.
As it turned out, the new opportunity everyone was talking about wasn't another WNBA team at all. Instead, it was Hive BC, one of the newest clubs entering the second season of Unrivaled. Mitchell was preparing for her highly anticipated debut in the fast-paced 3-on-3 league, finally bringing clarity to the growing speculation. The move to Unrivaled, a league built to give players greater exposure during the off-season, represented a fresh challenge and a new stage for her talents. The clarification eased widespread concern, confirming she wasn't leaving the Fever, only broadening her professional path and adding depth to an already accomplished career.
Hive BC in Unrivaled, okay? Now we got to go over to front office sports, man. And shout out to Annie Costable. All right. Annie Costable had an article here titled "The Year of the WNBA's Extinctual Fight." And this could be do or die for the league. I think there's a lot of people in decision-making spots with the WNBPA who are a conflict of interest. And that's not like, that's not me looking at y'all character and saying it's a conflict of interest. It's me looking at the facts. When you are signed.
Caitlin Clark's response to Mitchell's post was instant and decisive, quickly becoming the moment that defined the entire situation. She commented simply, "Let's go, Kels." Though brief, the message carried significant weight. It was more than encouragement. It was a public declaration of support from the league's biggest star. In an environment often shaped by competition and individual ambition, Clark's comment highlighted the strong bond within the Indiana Fever. Her support extended beyond Mitchell alone. It sent a clear signal to the rest of the league that loyalty, unity, and mutual respect still stand strong beyond the WNBA hardwood.
I think there's a lot of people in decision-making spots with the WNBPA who are a conflict of interest. And that's not like, that's not me looking at y'all character and saying it's a conflict of interest. It's me looking at the facts. When you are signed with competitor leagues and you have stake in competitor leagues, I don't think you should be the one in charge of negotiating for another league. I just think that's a conflict of interest in any business. And that just is what it is. But she put an article here, says the WNBA year is ending.
Mitchell isn't stepping into unrivaled on her own. She's joined by a familiar group of Indiana Fever teammates from the 2025 season, forming a strong collective presence in the league. Lexi Hull, Aaliyah Boston, Erica Wheeler, Nalissa Smith, and Victoria Vivians are all set to compete in the fast-paced 3-on-3 format. Their participation reflects a shared decision among several core Fever players to stay competitive and visible during the WNBA offseason. Having multiple teammates involved not only gives Mitchell a sense of continuity, but also significantly boosts Unrivaled's profile by bringing elite talent from one of the league's most closely watched rosters.
Problem right there. That is what I'm talking about. WNBPA executive leaders Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart at the time. Negotiations had not yet taken off, but players took full advantage of the exposure they were receiving while playing in the new league based in Miami. Okay? So you had Unrivaled kicked off even before Unrivaled's inaugural season started. You had Angel Reese on her podcast saying that Unrivaled was going to be the only league players ended up playing in. Just for her not to end up playing in year 2. She skipped out on year 2. You see what I'm saying? So
while many of her teammates dive into Unrivaled, Caitlin Clark has once again chosen a different path, opting out for the second consecutive year. Her decision is driven by a critical personal priority: health. After a rookie campaign disrupted by multiple injuries that limited her to just 13 games in 2025, Clark is focused entirely on recovery and long-term durability. Despite strong interest and reported pursuit from Unrivaled, any possibility of her participation has been pushed to the future, with 2026 remaining a topic of speculation. For now, her attention is locked on returning fully healthy and ready to perform at her peak when the next WNBA season begins, reinforcing her commitment to longevity over short-term exposure.
Was going to be the only league players ended up playing in. Just for her not to end up playing in year 2. She skipped out on year 2. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I mean, man. It's been a lot of foolishness going on. And then Nafisa Collier was quoted as saying, we didn't plan the league based on CBA negotiation. I think it did have a part. I think because y'all have clearly tried to use Unrivaled as leverage the whole time, even before the negotiations started, which is why Angel Reese was saying that Unrivaled was going to be the only league people was playing in. Y'all was trying to get rid of the WNBA. Y'all thought y'all...
The irony surrounding Clark's absence hasn't gone unnoticed by those familiar with Unrivaled's early history. Following her rookie season, the league made aggressive efforts to link itself to her name and star power, attempting to ride the wave of her unprecedented popularity. The push became so intense that Clark eventually had to publicly distance herself, drawing a clear boundary to halt what felt like a constant effort to capitalize on her image. That backdrop makes her current, unwavering support for Kelsey Mitchell even more significant. Despite once declining the league herself, Clark is now openly championing her teammates' involvement, proving that her loyalty to the Fever extends beyond personal circumstances.
Backdrop for Collier and WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's now infamous, previously private conversation among Collier's accusations was that Engelbert has said Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. right? So we saw how unrivaled, I mean, just the whole thing kind of backfired with Kathy Engelbert having that conversation with her there. So it's just kind of like, I don't know if we're going to get to a place where we can get a deal done. I am hopeful. But I will, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to watch some Unrivaled because I want to cover.
The story surrounding Unrivaled extends far beyond player opportunity alone. It has become deeply intertwined with a growing and serious controversy involving the WNBA. At the center of the debate is a potential conflict of interest tied to WNBPA executive leadership, specifically Nneka Agwamike and Brianna Stewart, who co-founded Unrivaled. The issue raises difficult questions, as these same leaders are also responsible for negotiating the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement, which directly determines player salaries, benefits, and working conditions. Holding dual roles in both the Players Association and a competing league has sparked widespread criticism, with many suggesting the arrangement blurs priorities and undermines trust within the union. The core concern lies in Unrivaled's position as a rival league. When top WNBPA executives have financial and professional stakes in a competing organization while simultaneously negotiating the future of the WNBA, it creates a clear ethical dilemma. Critics argue it becomes impossible to advocate impartially for WNBA players when personal interests are connected to an alternative venture. This perceived conflict has fueled doubts about the integrity of the ongoing CBA negotiations, with fears that player interests and league stability could be compromised by divided loyalties at the bargaining table. These concerns are unfolding against the backdrop of a high-stakes labor dispute. The WNBA formally opted out of the previous collective bargaining agreement last October, signaling a push for a transformative new deal rather than remaining under the existing agreement, which was set to expire in 2027. Negotiations have now stretched beyond a year, with both sides entrenched in a tense standoff. The pursuit of a more equitable agreement has highlighted the need for strong, unbiased leadership within the Players Association, making the Unrivaled conflict all the more troubling to observers. Adding another layer of scrutiny is the timing of Unrivaled's launch. The 3-on-3 startup league debuted in January 2025, precisely as CBA negotiations were intensifying. Many questioned whether this alignment was truly coincidental. Critics suggested the league was strategically introduced to function as leverage in labor talks, positioning itself as a viable alternative and subtly pressuring the WNBA to meet player demands. This perception made the involvement of WNBA leadership appear less accidental and more calculated. Despite these accusations, WNBPA executive leader Nneka Agwamike publicly denied that Unrivaled was planned around the CBA discussions. "We didn't plan the league based on CBA negotiations," she stated at the time, attempting to ease concerns. However, she later added, "When we saw the timing line up, we felt it was a perfect opportunity." That clarification only deepened skepticism, as many interpreted the phrase, "perfect opportunity," as evidence of strategic intent rather than coincidence. The controversy also pulled in other high-profile figures, including Angel Reese, who had previously claimed on her podcast that Unrivaled would be the primary league players would choose. Yet Reese notably did not participate in Unrivaled's second season, a decision that raised further questions about the league's stability and the sincerity behind earlier endorsements. Her absence, combined with her prior statements, added another confusing layer to the narrative and intensified criticism of Unrivaled's messaging and its ties to WNBPA leadership. Some critics went even further, accusing the Players Association's leadership of using Unrivaled as a direct pressure tactic against the WNBA, potentially aiming to weaken or replace it altogether. The prevailing belief was that the Players Association viewed the startup league as a way to create an existential threat, one powerful enough to force the WNBA's hand during CBA negotiations. If accurate, this strategy reflects a deeply aggressive approach, revealing internal tensions and a willingness to push boundaries. What initially appeared to be a player-friendly opportunity instead began to look like a contentious bargaining chip in a much larger, high-stakes power struggle over the future of women's professional basketball. Fuel was added to the controversy when Unrivaled became the backdrop for a now infamous private conversation between Nneka Collier and WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. This previously confidential exchange later became public, dramatically escalating tensions between the WNBPA and the league office. The fact that the discussion took place within the environment of a rival league only magnified its impact, reinforcing the perception that Unrivaled was not merely an alternative playing platform, but a strategic setting for direct confrontation. The drama didn't unfold behind closed doors. It unfolded inside the competitor's domain. During that tense exchange, one of the most damaging allegations involved an alleged statement by Engelbert regarding Caitlin Clark. According to reports, Engelbert suggested that Clark should be grateful for the estimated $16 million she earns off the court, implying that without the WNBA's platform, she wouldn't earn anything at all. If accurate, the remark revealed a deeply troubling attitude toward the league's biggest star, suggesting her massive marketability stems solely from the league rather than her own generational talent and influence. The quote ignited widespread backlash and reopened debates about player value, ownership of star power, and who truly drives the league's growth. The public fallout from the Engelbert conversation ultimately backfired on Unrivaled. What was meant to symbolize player empowerment and possibly serve as leverage in labor negotiations instead became a lightning rod for criticism. The conversation quickly shifted away from Unrivaled's potential and toward its role in intensifying an already strained relationship between the WNBPA and the WNBA. Rather than appearing as an independent venture, the league became entangled in broader disputes, casting a shadow over its mission and complicating the ongoing negotiations. Amid all the off-court turmoil, it's important not to lose sight of Kelsey Mitchell's on-court excellence, which is what makes her unrivaled debut so compelling. During the 2025 WNBA season, Mitchell reaffirmed her elite scoring status by leading the Indiana Fever with 20 points per game while shooting an efficient 45% from the field. Her consistency and leadership were central to the team's success, solidifying her reputation as one of the league's most dangerous offensive weapons. Fans are now eager to see how her explosive style translates to the faster-paced 3-on-3 environment of Unrivaled. Despite the complex web of controversy surrounding the league, Caitlin Clark's support for Mitchell has remained firm. Her simple but powerful "Let's go, Kels" comment stands as a clear endorsement of her teammates' personal choice, drawing a line between player solidarity and the larger political battles between the WNBPA and the WNBA. While Clark herself won't be competing in the 3-on-3 league, her public backing reinforces the strong bond within the Indiana Fever and highlights a crucial reality: players can support one another's ambitions even while navigating competing leagues and tense labor disputes. The overlapping narratives of player ambition, emerging leagues, and high-stakes labor negotiations have created a fascinating and often turbulent moment for women's basketball. Caitlin Clark's support of Kelsey Mitchell's unrivaled debut, set against the backdrop of WNBPA conflicts and controversial leadership statements, underscores the challenges facing the sport as the WNBA and Unrivaled chart their respective paths forward. One thing remains undeniable. Even amid deep institutional divides, player solidarity continues to be a powerful force